What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Whole Views. And after about 200 videos talking about movies in an enthusiastic way, I feel like I finally have a method on how to critique movies. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't so far. Continue to help the channel growing. The channel's been growing great. Help us to continue to keep our numbers climbing. So if you're going to judge anything and you're going to be fair and consistent about it, you need to have a set of criteria. And I've always known that to be the case. I felt like I was doing it fairly well up until this point, but after watching a movie last night, I'm very conflicted about how to score this thing because I enjoyed it, but there are elements of it that probably don't match my normal mold of what I like. So what I did was I developed a set of criteria that I could now use to apply to everything else, and it allows me to kind of judge things more fairly. And by all means, if you want to get into doing movie reviews, or if you just want to talk about things in a more detailed way, setting a criteria like this is probably the best way to go. So let's go ahead and get into my criteria for how I judge movies. Story is the first element that I look at. And to me, it's fairly simple, but it can also be complex. Does the story catch you or does it miss you? Does the idea of the movie kind of jump off the screen to you, or does it take a lot for you to get invested? Did the plot connect to you? Was it easy to understand, or did you find the story to be confusing or muddled? Depending on how you answer those questions will determine whether you like the story of the movie that you're watching or not. Next criteria for me would be pace. I notice that when I tend to talk about movies over the time that I've been talking about them here on YouTube, I always tend to mention the pace of a movie. So is it slow, or does it get right to the point? Do you find yourself checking your phone to see if you're missing any text messages while this thing is going on? Because if so, the pace may not be right for you. When you get toward the end of the movie, do you find yourself pressing a button to see how much time is left, or checking your watch to, according to the runtime, we should be finished at this time? Are you judging when is this thing going to be wrapped up? Because if so, it may not be paced right for you. Next up on my list of criteria would be visuals. And for me, visuals can mean a whole bunch of different things. If this is an action sci-fi, does it have good CGI or bad CGI? Does it have a million cutscenes during the action, like that Liam Neeson clip that just cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts? Or does it have big sweeping action shots where a lot of things are going on at one time, or a wide tracking shot that kind of follows the action as it goes? Those things attribute to the visuals. There's probably a lot more that you can put into that category, but let's just leave it like that for now. The fourth criteria would be entertainment value. Probably the simplest one of all. Did you enjoy what this was? If it's a comedy, did you laugh? If it's an action movie, did you enjoy the ride? If it's a suspense movie, were you on the edge of your seat or not? If it's a horror movie, were you afraid? Were you scared? Did you jump any? If it's a drama, did you care about the characters? Did you care about what was going on? Did you connect with any characters throughout watching that drama? Last on my list, one that I've always thought about but may not have mentioned, would be rewatchability. That's huge for me because a lot of times I watch things on my own and I think, would I recommend this? And if I would I be willing to sit and watch it again with the person I'm recommending it to? I've kind of always thought that way. Maybe never brought it across on film quite well, but it's always been a thought of mine. So with those criteria in place and thinking about how I look at what I see, I think that'll enable me and probably enable you to go down the line and judge whether something was really good or really bad. And it'll be something that I'm implementing moving forward, making it a visual theme. Like, these are the points that I hit. So if you like that model, if you find this little guide to be useful, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to talk more movies, you like going back and forth about things, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, comment on the video. If you have different criteria, please let me know. I also think about actors' performances, but I kind of lump that in with visuals. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at what I'm seeing on the screen from this person, and either I like it or I don't like it. I think I might go back and revisit some of the more divisive movies that I've done over the time, and just to kind of clarify my thoughts and positions on some things, because I may sound harsh when I call a movie trash, but there are elements that are good, there are elements that are bad. And this little model that I've came up with, I believe will give me a real good method of breaking things down as we move forward. So again, if you've been with me for the first 200 plus videos, thank you. And please subscribe so you can be with me moving forward. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, Come back, check out more videos.